Photography is what Lawrence Prescott does, and he's really good at it. Trust me. And also, when you want to get that video done, any type of videography production, he got you. He does short films, movies, any type of videos as well. Lawrence Prescott got you at anything that you really need. So make sure you give him a call. His phone number, and I'm going to say it slow for you, it's 404-218-1234. Did you get that? 404-218-1234. Lawrence Prescott Photography. Yo, my virgin, big up.
Greetings, Gwinnett International Church with Pastor Rob in association with Patmore Music presents our first annual International Evening of Praise, Sunday, September 15th, 2024 at 4 p.m. This Evening of Praise will be held at the Caribbeanlifetv Studios, 6254 Memorial Drive, Suite C, Stone Mountain, Georgia, featuring artists such as Rohan Clark, Professor Roach, Why Not the Paul, Universe, Khalil Ross, Renee LeBlue, Ja Wall of Fire, Next Level Praise Team, Ann Williams, Daughters of Zion Praise and Worship, Sharon Edmondson, and Doxology. Admission only $20. Refreshment on sale. Catering by Sweet Julie Mango Cafe. For more information, please contact 770-276-8077 or 706-351-8276. This is a TCBM production. You don't want to miss this International Evening of Praise. So see you there.
Get ready for an unforgettable night of worship and praise. It's a Sound of Praise concert happening on Saturday, October the 12th at the World of Life International Church of God. 4881 Lawrenceville Highway, Tucker, Georgia is the place to be. Featuring powerful performances by Joanne Sebastian, Evangelist Bridget Blusher, and Marlon Bro Paul Anderson, along with the World of Life Praise team. Doors open at 4 p.m. and the concert kicks off at 6 p.m. sharp. Tickets are just $30 prepaid or $35 at the door. Don't miss out on this uplifting evening of music, praise, and delicious food will be on sale. For information, call 917-755-5481 or 678-525-9397. Come experience the power of praise at the Sounds of Praise concert, October the 12th, and I will see you there.
Hey now, it's that time again. Join us as we celebrate our second year anniversary. We'll be bringing you music, entertainment, and culture. It'll be here at the CLTV Studios, 6254 Memorial Drive, Stone Mountain, Georgia, 30083. Saturday, September 14th, 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. Save the date. Hey now, this is Stacy with Reading to Feed the Mind. Join us every Wednesday, 6:30 to 7:30, as we talk about various authors, books, and everything around reading and literacy.
me tell you that the time in your life when you find who you are, that's the golden time of day. And in your mind you will find you're a bright shining star. Ooh, that's the golden time of day. When you feel deep inside all the love you're looking for, don't it make you feel okay? Yes, like the time of the day when the sun is going down. That's the golden time of day. Ooh, that's the golden time of day. Oh, that's the golden time of day. Can't you see it shining? Ooh, shine, children, shine. Can't you see it shining? Let your love light shine. Can't you see it shining?
All right. Hey, y'all. I had to start my show with that song today in memory of a great, great musician and writer and entertainer, Frankie Beverly, y'all. We lost him today, and it broke my heart. I didn't know him, but Frankie Beverly, Michael Jackson, Gladys Knight, Aretha Franklin, Patti LaBelle. Those are all people, Stephanie Mills. Those are all people who have been a part of what I feel like is my entire life. With Frankie Beverly, my sister loved his music, y'all. And I remember the time when I did not like his music. And I've said it 1,000 times before. Y'all know me. My sister's 7 years older than me. So when she was like 18, 19, heavy into Frankie Beverly, I was 11, 12. And I was like, I would always go, ugh, I did not like it. And I was so tickled when the day came that I started liking Frankie Beverly. And I was like, oh my God, I guess that was a maturity thing for me. And that song in particular, Golden Time of Day, I was at Chastain Park with my girlfriends, and we were at their concert. And I was going through a lot in my life at that time, and he sang that song, y'all. And that verse where he says, there's a time in your life when you know who you are. That's the golden time of day. And it was that time and what I was going through in my life, I was like, oh my God, that is a golden time when you know that, when you come to that reality. So his music is going to live with us forever. He is going to be with us forever, although he's gone in flesh and his spirit is ascended and everything, but his music will live with us. So, and I'm really hurt. And like I had someone laughing today, I was like, well, I'm hurt with Frankie Beverly. I was like, but my God, if it's Gladys or Patty, I'm gonna have to take the day off. I will be in mourning because they are like my aunties, my musical aunties. That's who they are for me. And it just hurts, but we know we have to go. But I think, he lived his life doing what he loved. And how many of us can say that we've done that? That we lived all of our lives doing what we love. So let that be a reminder, whatever it is, y'all need to stop and make sure that wherever you are in your life, that should be a reminder for you to make sure that whatever you're doing in life is what you love and you're fulfilling your purpose. You know what I mean? And it doesn't even have to be anything that anybody understands because the world is large. I'm sure somewhere along the line, somebody who is totally out of their mind doesn't like Frankie Beverly. But you can't be worried about that because the world is large enough that whatever it is that you were supposed to do, the people that need to be there will be there. So anyway, I had to take a moment in reverence, and I'm praying that his spirit ascends and that his soul is resting, his family, praying for his family, that God is comforting them and comforting fans like me. And some who are probably way worse than me, right? But I saw him a lot of times, and I was the one with everybody saying, oh, Frankie just need to give it up. I was like, I don't care, I'll still go. Because it's Frankie Beverly, right? But anyway, so I was blessed to see him several times, and I'm waiting for somebody to say what day we all gonna dress in white. Everybody has to dress in white. You know, that's a...
Is that what he wore
all the time in concerts and stuff. He always wore white. So I'm just waiting to get the news when somebody comes up with, okay, y'all, on this date, we wear white. Frankie Beverly Day. Anyway. So, all right, back to why we're here. So today is the day I have my wonderful co-host, Kwanda. She is with me today because we are discussing Sonny Hostin's third book, Summer on Hamilton Beach.
Not Hamilton.
Hampton. I did. I did read it. Just got the title wrong. And I don't have a hard copy. Did you get a copy?
No, I read it on my book. I mean, on my phone.
Okay, and then I did Audible. But neither here nor there. We can discuss the book. I loved this one. I did. I mean, she really, and I tried to tell my girlfriends who I can't understand why they couldn't relate or get into this book with their bougie behinds. I'm like, how all of y'all bougie and you can't get into this book? But the first one, again, for those of you who are trying to get through that first one, it's good, but understand that this is the foundation to everything. So if you read it with that in your mind, here's some wine.
Okay.
If you read it with that in your mind, that this is the foundation, everything starts to come to a head at the end of Summer in the Bluffs. Highland Beach. Ooh, I'm so embarrassed. Woo. Okay. The third book is called Summer on Highland Beach. Forgive me. Hampton's Highland, you know, hey. But it's on Summer on Highland Beach. But anyway, so get through the first one. Toward the end, it all comes together for you, and you're going to go, oh. And then you got, okay, Summer on the Bluffs, Summer on Sag Harbor, and then Summer on Hamilton Beach. And again,
Don't say Hamilton.
Highland. Why I can't? Summer on Highland Beach. But all these are actual beaches, actual black communities. And she gives a historical perspective on it. So we are still following Olivia, who ends up being, she is the one who ends up being the daughter of her godfathers. That was the one where the godfather was making it up to them because he had unintentionally given the name of her father, and y'all gonna understand why I'm saying quotes and father, had given the name of her father to another attorney because her father was being a witness and testifying to some mischiefs that was going on in the police department. And when her godfather gave his name to that attorney, the attorney was working with the people that, had him killed. So he always had this guilt that he was a part of the reason why her father had died. And, he made it up by making sure she and her mother always had money. And then he and his wife had picked, gotten her as one of the 3 girls that were their goddaughters and, paid for her college, left her a house on Highland Beach. And, he did all of that for her, out of his guilt and love for her because they became really tight and everything. So that's what we find out at the end of
Book 2.
book 1. We find that out at the end of book 1. And then in book 2, she goes on to live in the house. And the house is not on Highland Beach. The house is on Sag Harbor, is the house that he left for her. And so she starts her life in book 2 in Sag Harbor. Then toward the end of Sag Harbor is when she finds out
That the guy that she thought was her dad that died, it was actually not her dad. It was her brother's. It was
her
dad's
uncle,
brother.
actually.
Yeah.
It was her dad's brother, and they were twins.
Yes.
And so Highland Beach picks up on her going there to visit, to find out more about her, to build a relationship with her now father, who she thought was dead, and them pulling all of the pieces together of, what actually happened, what was going on with growing up and stuff. So this one was interesting. This one, it had, and what I love about all her books is that, she takes you on this ride and you think that you know what's happening, but then she just gives you all kind of twists and turns. So I'll let you pick up, Quanda. What did you think about it? What did you think?
I thought it was like, it was my favorite out of the 3.
Okay.
It was, I like how, I think it had like a lot of themes, if you will, in it. Like, how she thought she had solved a lot of her like issues in book 2, but how it kind of came back crashing in book 3, and how she had to really deal with feeling abandoned and had to stop running away from like her fears and grow up and really be forgiving. Because we thought, she kind of got past that in book 2, where she found out about her friend, and then she saw that she wasn't as perfect as she thought she was.
Yes.
When she had when she cheated on Anderson. But I feel like in this case, when they found out, when she when somebody put her in the paper and like kind of put her on blast that this is the long lost love child of the mayor, because her dad's the mayor, and she ran away from that. She really just realized that she hadn't really dealt with all of the issues that she had as far as being totally comfortable with who she was. So that's something that she had to deal with in book 3, and I like that they brought full circle the relationship with her mom.
Yes.
Like it got better, and it was so sweet and so nice.
Yes.
And how she was really fighting for her mom, to win, and checking her dad like, look, this is my mom, and she don't have time to be, played with.
Yes.
And, making sure that he knew that and understood that he needed to come correct and be fully open and open and truthful about like the scandal that was behind him.
Oh yes.
With the younger lady, because so I did like that, and hopefully you guys read it and can appreciate like what we're saying, because it was really good. So I liked all of that.
I did. I liked it. It towards the end, I think I was like, okay. It just seems like it was kind of like too much information toward the end for me. I enjoyed it.
About what?
Okay, so I enjoyed it, and I think I was just going in so hard because it was literally, although I'm listening to it does get to a point where it's like, okay, I can't wait to get in the car. I can't wait. Let me get in the car. Let me see what's about to happen. Or while I'm washing dishes, or I was listening, folding clothes. I'm like, ooh, because I kept thinking about it. And that's what I love about books. When you're reading a book and it's like, oh my goodness, I need to go and see what's about to happen with so-and-so, and so I love that I'm back to that part.
Okay.
Although I did this one on Audible, I am actually reading a book.
Okay.
And I'm so proud of myself.
Okay.
And that's how I feel. That's how I feel with this book that I'm reading.
Okay.
And I'll tell y'all about it because we're going to have him back in here for this one because I'm enjoying it. But anyway, so what I liked about the book, again, was how she came full circle with her mom. So this one, again, is on Highland Beach. So it opens up, it's picking up from Sag Harbor, and she's now with her father. She's in the city. Her father is the mayor, and so they're trying to deal with, and it's a small town, and she looks a lot like her father. So she's trying to, she's going running, trying to put on sunglasses and hide because everybody's like, well, who are you? Who's your family? How did you get here? And so then she told her father, no, you don't need to tell anybody about me yet. How are you going to tell that? Because he is the mayor.
Right.
And as you said earlier, he already has a minor scandal up under him with some younger girl he was seen with, or, might have been trying to see. And that was a little bit of a scandal. He's not married, so it wasn't like he was cheating on anybody, but it was still.
She was like in 24. And
Yeah.
He's like 50 plus.
Yes.
So, and then I think she was related to one of the prominent people in the community.
Yes.
And kind of that stuff.
And that was a no, you shouldn't do that kind of thing. So he had that scandal, and she just didn't want to be known as his love child. So she was trying to be secretive as she was meeting people, and somebody exposed her, and they had the article, and she ran away. And in that running away, she went back to Sag Harbor to see her love, and that turned out to be really bad because now that's what I didn't like.
Me either.
I thought
he didn't give her grace.
He did not.
Okay, I'm glad we agree on that.
I am too.
Because at first I was like, they're going to think I'm being too hard on him
No,
and stuff.
I didn't. I was like, how you just going to be so loving?
Right.
And all of a sudden, you can't be forgiving. So what happened?
She didn't fit the description of his fantasy.
Yes.
She showed a human side of herself,
Yes.
and he just flipped.
Yeah, and so we're not going to tell them the details of what happened because we want y'all to read the book.
Yeah.
But she does, she displays anger in front of his daughter, and
Mistakenly.
They
overheard her on the phone.
Yes, little girl shouldn't have been in the room. No way. No. But anyway, I thought, I was like, how you just going to be so unforgiving? And now all of a sudden it was love, love, love. And then all of a sudden, one little thing, that was technically the first argument.
Yes.
And you just gonna shut it down over the first argument. So I was like, oh, he whack.
Right.
I know that's.
I was like, where's Anderson?
Nah, I still didn't want Anderson. I mean, maybe that's some issues I have on my own. Black power. No, just kidding. But I still rather him than Anderson. I did. And I'm surprised. Now, I'm surprised, y'all, to hear this one go for Anderson. Because now I would have maybe, okay, if Anderson had not been related to that family, would you still be pulling for Anderson?
No. I mean, he could have been related to another rich family.
No. That's why, because this one, she don't believe in that. I make more money than you think, and struggling anything in a relationship. So that's why I was like, how you pulling for Anderson? But then I remember he did end up being related to a really wealthy family.
You had to give him grace too, because he was coming from a traumatic childhood as well, and it could have been explored where he would have been a better communicator, but I understand everyone's.
I think with Anderson, when I really was like, okay, no. Because you still have he still had room to grow in the interracial thing.
Yes.
Because he still didn't have enough empathy. Because I really felt like Anderson was not comfortable in Sag Harbor more because it was all black.
Interesting.
Than anything else.
His father being there, the company.
Yeah, and then and that's where she messed me up.
Okay.
Because before you found out about his father and him, that was why he really was uncomfortable. I had already put in my head, so Buddy just can't deal with being the minority. That's how I was feeling.
Gotcha.
But then later on, I forgot, he did. And then when you found out, and too many secrets.
Yes.
It was. He had too many secrets. He never let her read that script, which I've heard people that are writers, they will kind of hold their stuff from people until it's finished. But he just had too many things he had not talked about.
Right.
So that was my thing.
Yeah.
But okay, now back to Highland Beach. So then I loved how both in Sag Harbor and this one, how the women were able to come together. And you didn't have a lot of drama.
Right.
I loved how she did that. I mean, she still displayed the fact that some people you get along better than others. You know, like with, what's her name in Sag Harbor, the one that was sleeping with the husband.
Oh, okay. I forgot her name. I don't think it was Whitney. It was.
It wasn't Whitney. But I just loved how she showed how women can meet each other. And all of them can be beautiful and successful in their own right, but you still can move and shake. Although I might not groove with you quite as much, but I can still be okay. We can still be girlfriends because that's true reality girlfriends, right? And that's how I am with my girlfriends. Some of us are tight, you know, like it's 3 of us, road dog down. We know where the bodies are buried. We can, you know, we know, and we know who we are, what we are, who we know where the bodies are buried. And then all the rest of the ladies, I'm friends with, I'm affiliates, I can deal with the different personalities, but when we're all together, we're all sisters. You know, we can travel together, we can sleep in the same room, same bed. We can flow with each other. And that's how truly, when you have good friends, that's really how girlfriends are. They're not all about this reality stuff.
Right, and
you know,
competitiveness.
And competitiveness. Yes. And I think I can honestly say, we're not competitive.
Good.
I mean, you know, like I said, I don't think we are. We aren't competitive. We got our little glitches, and again, some job a little bit better than others, but we know how to love each other when we're all together. So that's a blessing. And that's what I loved, how she was able to show that in this book, because it really is a reality. It is a reality, because I have 2 sets of girlfriends. I have my high school girlfriends that I still associate with. Then I got my ace, my ace boom coon girlfriends, who I do all my really silly stuff with. And we love each other. Nice. So, and it can exist. And I wish women would understand that. I think it's a lot of women, after reality TV, don't think it really exists. So even when they approach women now, it's a whole size you up kind of. It's like, if you don't go sit down, I got a man at home. I don't care about these. You know what I'm saying? Right. That kind of thing. So, but anyway, back to the book. And so I enjoyed that in the book, that relationship. And then how, like you said, the closure, the all the stuff that was resolved with her mom. And that was a thing that I learned when I had Ontario, when I had my daughter. We have to be very, very careful with our children at young ages. You got to listen to them, and you got to make sure that, because kids come up with their own narration of things. We all did it, right? I remember I used to suck my finger when I was growing up, when I was a little girl. And I think I would suck my finger, and I would play with my navel while I was sucking my finger. And so my mom, get your hands off stop playing with your navel. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then as I was getting older, I didn't do it as much, but whenever she would see, there you go, stop playing with your navel. Da-da-da. Somewhere in my childlike mind, I was like, ooh, that must be where babies come from. Oh, Lord. Because my mom was so adamant, because I couldn't think of no other reason why I can't. So in my mind, that's what I thought, that it had something to do with something with babies or whatever. And I never expressed it to her, but that was my preconception of why my mother was saying, don't play with your navel. Now, when Ontario was a little girl, my daughter, when she was about 3, 4 years old, I wanted more children. So I was like, ooh, I just want a little boy. I always wanted a little boy, right? And I would say that. And then I noticed that she started saying stuff like, oh, I wish I was a boy. Oh. And I got scared, because it was along the same time that people were starting to do that whole reality thing about your children. You know, paying attention, and when, you know, understanding that kids start young. And I was like, oh, I said, oh my God, she want to be a boy. And one day I asked her, I said, Terry, why do you say you want to be a boy? Well, Mommy, you always say you want a boy. I said, oh my God, no. I said, I love you. I said, I want a girl and a boy. I said, so I love you that you're a little girl. I want my next child to be a boy. And she never said it again.
Oh, nice.
So I'm saying all that because Olivia always felt like her mother didn't love her because the color of her skin. Because the things that her mom would say about don't wear bright colors. So all the way up, and I think Olivia, she wasn't 30 yet. So here it is, she's almost 30 years old, and she has carried with her most of her life that her mother doesn't love her because of her skin complexion. Or her mother doesn't really like her. Her skin is too dark, and she really doesn't love her. She hates her because, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But then when she had a chance to talk with her mother, what did she say about the color? Those
that
bright
she
colors.
loves it. Like, she didn't want her to be looked upon like as an adult or something.
It was those colors.
It was to protect her.
It was more to protect her than, oh, I don't like you. Right? And she carried that burden of, well, maybe I remind my mother too much of my father, or she when she looks at me, she sees my father, so that's why she can't love me.
But I'm sorry to interrupt, but she did say that her dad used to wear colors like that, and it would remind her of him, which is why she didn't want her to wear them. But it's not that she didn't think she was beautiful. She was like, she was so in love with her dad, you know, even though that they were twins, but it was who her dad was, his personality, kind of how he presented himself with confidence that made her really fall for him, even though her and Chris were best friends, the brother, but she loved Charles, which is the actual Olivia's father. And so when she would wear those colors, it did remind her
of him.
Yes. So, but she thought she was beautiful, a beautiful woman.
Yes. You know? And that's the other thing I wanted to point out in this book. Ladies, look, the mistakes we made are the mistakes we made. Be careful that you don't put those mistakes off on your children.
Girls.
Especially the girls, right? And the boys. Be true to yourself in that whatever happened between you and that baby's father, your child's father, is between you and the child's father. I'm sorry that that you look at that child now and you see that man, but be careful of your words, right? Because they will destroy and hurt your child. I lived that. My mom used to always say, oh, be careful who you sleep with, because you don't want to sleep with no ugly man, because then you end up having an ugly child. And that was somewhat a reflection on things that happened with my father and, you know, and the relationship. My mother knew my father. They had like early years dated, but my father did things to hurt my mom. And she distanced herself, but then she backtracked and got back involved with him. And unfortunately, I was a date rape situation.
Oh.
Yeah. And so I found all of this stuff out later, but it was a situation, and I look back on growing up, I was a reminder of that, you know, and it's like, hey, it's not my fault or whatever, but I was a reminder that I was conceived from somebody in a situation that wasn't favorable, you know, and she could have gave me up. I was about to be given up, but she decided to keep me. Sometimes I'd be like, dang, you probably should just let me go. No.
Or she could have let you go a lot sooner than 9 months.
Yes, she could have. So I give her thanks for that.
Yeah.
Back then, I don't think they did that back then. And my mom wouldn't have done that.
Right.
But she was going to give me up. And she decided not to. So I'm thankful for that. Kind of, sort of. Because I was born in Brooklyn. And sometimes when I look at Mary J. Blige and look at everybody, I'm like, I wonder if she had just left me up there.
Child, please.
Would I have been singing? I would have been closer to...
But who would have been your parents?
Oh, whatever their last name is Jackson. I mean, she had me. It was a situation where it was all set up. She was just gonna give birth and leave me with someone. So she had all of it lined
Well, who
up.
are these people now?
I have no idea.
Girl, they could have been crazy.
Yeah, they could have. God always has a plan. Everything works out for the best. But sometimes when I'm looking at TV One and looking at Unplugged, I'm like, I just wonder. But if she had left me and I could have been one of the music people that you know, could have got caught up. He always
been
knows.
part of that Diddy party. So.
I think I would have been, well, who knows?
Right.
You know, I could have really have gone. I could have been a named person, but I could have really had a tragic life. Who knows? Who knows? But everything works in God's favor. So I do. But it just every now and then I be like, I wonder.
But you were in Atlanta. We done pumped out a whole bunch of stars too now.
Whatever. Okay. So
Ray Charles.
yeah, but they all at that time, they
That was
didn't
over.
become famous in Atlanta. They had to leave.
Oh, that's true.
Because Atlanta is the city it is now. But they would have had to leave.
They did leave. They did.
They had to all leave.
We were more blown up in like the 90s.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people.
Because she used to say that about, my mom used to always say that about Theresa. She just need to pack up and go and stop trying to stay here in Atlanta, you know, whatever. But now, you know, things are opening up. But anyway, back to the book. But this is what a book club is. That's what we do in a book club, y'all. We talk about the book, then we talk about other stuff. So y'all in on our book club with me. Just me
I
and
like that
Quanda.
she introduced a book club in the book.
Yes.
And so I was going to read that book that they were talking about, but then I forgot why. I was like, I don't want to read this book. But then they started talking about the hair grease. And I went, the other black girl is the book that they were discussing in the cafe.
Yes.
And so I'm reading that now.
And then, because they
I
have a
didn't
series. It was a movie.
It's
the
on
other-
Hulu, I think.
Hulu. I started it, but I haven't.
So you didn't read the book?
Nope.
Okay.
But I did start the series.
Okay.
And I was like, ugh. I think it was hitting home for me too much.
Oh, okay.
For corporate.
Oh,
you know, that
gotcha.
whole.
But don't tell me about it because I'm reading it. And so
No. And I just watched a few. I don't think I even
okay.
finished the first season.
Oh, okay.
So it's just in that whole, you know, that whole backstabbing, conniving.
But see, I hadn't got to that part yet, so that's why I want to talk about
Yeah. It just reminded me too much of, because that's how we think we're supposed to exist now. Everybody thinks that you're supposed to do that. And it's, you know, me,
It's
happy-go-lucky.
And even though, and I, like I said, I'm maybe on like chapter 3 or 4, but based on what you're saying and based on like some little sentiments that I'm getting from the book, like she's just been a little bit too nice and asking too many questions, even though she's like she's all dreaded out and
Oh, yeah,
you know,
you
this
can't,
and
no,
this
that
and
don't
that.
matter.
But mentality, you still have like a supremacist, white supremacist mentality, and I feel like people, even now, even the millennials, Gen Z or whatever, I'm gonna say Gen Z, not to say that I've encountered people that are like backstabbing, but just the way they kind of process things and look at things, that mentality is still there, even though they're natural and this and this and that or whatever, and it on the outside is a pro. You know, I'm thankful and I appreciate who I am, but mental wise, it's still a supremacy that something else is
Because
better.
you think that's that mentality, that title. You know, I'm going for the title. I'm going for, because this
just
is.
even in music or just, you know, just basic things that they, you know, feel, I guess it's more to feel accepted, or I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's just some things that I feel like we're in a period of where we're living in a time of history and some music things, and you'll have people that don't see the artistry in certain things because of whatever reason. Because, you know, and I don't know. Like,
You didn't lost me, but it's okay.
well, sorry, but just to say that they don't appreciate. I can see, let me say this, I can see how things that we started in music and art was lost to other people because it wasn't appreciated by us. And now we're
Yes.
trying to reclaim it because I see it happening now
Yes.
with things.
Yes.
And people in the industry that, you know, it's just
Well,
like, oh, well,
because-
she, you know, she's this, or maybe because she doesn't look this way or whatever, then they're just kind of like dismissing it or whatever, but I can see how jazz and things were lost to the other people because we didn't appreciate what it was or the genius of the people that were in it.
One thing I noticed, white people keep their music alive. They keep it alive, right? And we keep ours alive a little bit. But I look at the younger, like Gen Z white generation. You play some of this classic stuff, old stuff, and they jam to it like they just heard it yesterday. And I haven't been around a lot of Gen Zers, but like Zalu, my nephew, if I play some stuff, he gonna be like, what's that? You know, and I try to keep the music alive, but I think they hold on and they don't, that's old stuff. They value and they treasure their older music. And like I say, it's not totally just not, but I think they do it on a better level than we do, keeping it alive. Because we are still...
But they'll appreciate our stuff, and then it'll get lost in who created it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
later.
They'll steal some stuff.
Yeah.
They'll steal, it's...
But I don't want to get off topic.
Okay, no, we don't.
Yeah,
but they will steal some stuff. I just got so tickled when the first thing I thought about was Travis Kelce. How they tried to start. They started trying to say he started the fade. It's like, if you don't go sit down way back in the room,
right.
You know, but they will try to claim some stuff in a heartbeat. But anyway, Sharon Okay, now look, Sharon, forgive me if I slaughtered this name, but welcome to Sharon Mercurius, as she's watching from Georgetown, Guyana. Hi, how are you? Hi. Welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in with me. It is beautiful to have, to be able to stay connected across the waters and so far away. But thank you so much for listening. So, Sharon, have you read any of the books? Just leave us a note if you have. What? How is it in Guyana? Lawrence asked me to ask you that. I'm sure the weather is pretty beautiful over there. Or whatever. But anyway, so back to the book. So we were talking about how we love that connection and the connection of the women and the book club. I did think that was really cute how she was just in the shop and they were like, well, just come on over then.
Right.
And although they were still sizing her up, it was still
respectful.
It was respectful and welcoming and not like excluding.
Right.
Because so many times, oh my God, God put this on my heart one day. You're not rejected, you're protected, right? Because so many times you walk into a room and they sizing you up and immediately they want to go to this whole alienation and exclusion. And then when you sit down and really start talking to them, they're like, I don't really want to be bothered with y'all no way. And maybe that's that 50-something point, that point that you get to when you're 50-something. But it's also, for me, I have found, because I remember on my last job, oh my God, this old whack woman on my job thought that she was truly, because I think she thought really highly of herself, right? And, you know how you run across those women that's like, you weave and, I'm just all that in a bag of chips and so a part of them feeling even higher in themselves is trying to exclude you and make you feel like you're less. And I wanted to tap her on her shoulder so many times, like, do you not realize I got girlfriends? And you, whether you like me or not, does not really matter. But where I really got tickled, because she was younger than me, one day she was talking, and she was talking about going shopping, and she was like, "Ooh, and I was at Rainbow," and I was immediately at my cube going, if you even think that you trying to be better than me and shopping at Rainbow, and she hadn't turned 40 yet, but I'm like, you in your late 30s and still shopping at Rainbow? You can't exclude. I got tickled because I'm like, you can't exclude me shopping at Rainbow, girl, whatever. And I don't want to offend anyone. I'm not trying to be better than anyone, but I am going to grab my chains pearls, because they're not pearls, my little necklaces. No, I don't shop at Rainbow.
Does it still exist?
I think in some mall.
Okay.
You know, and it's just like, Rainbow at this age, you know, now, I do feel like sometimes you can go find a cute little top that you can mix with something, you know, Forever 21. You know, you can mix up those clothes with some other clothes and stuff, but my whole perspective in that was, here you are trying to exclude me and put yourself off as though, you know, I'm not worthy of your company. You shop at Rainbow. That was my whole thing. But okay, anyway. So moving along. So I love the way her healing between the mother and daughter, and then, you know, how she was able to come into that community and be welcomed with women and everything. And then having everything come to with her father, you know, her building that relationship with her father. And I loved, you know, because I love a good love story, and I loved happy ending.
Yeah, it was a happy
And it was really nice to see how her father and her mom still loved each other so much, because he really did. Oh, and how all of that came to a head, because so toward the end of Summer in Sag Harbor, you see how, when you start to understand who her father really is, because that's when we find out how that Charles is really her father. We find that out in the Summer of Sag Harbor, that Charles is really her father. Chris was the twin brother. And Chris, because the way they left us in Sag Harbor, in the summer of Sag Harbor, was that Chris stepped in. Okay, so her grandmother was...
Basically, he lied and said that his brother wasn't coming, because remember, they had a conversation.
That's what I was leaving.
So he got there before Charles did, you know, to meet Cindy, which is her mom. And lied and said that Charles wasn't coming because Chris himself was actually in love with Cindy. And she didn't love him. She loved Charles. But him and Cindy were best friends. So then, you know, they kiss in the rain. Charles sees it, and then, you know, he feels some type of way about it. So that comes out, and, you know, that kind of helps, you know, solve or resolve whatever, you know, feelings that she was having about what happened back in the past.
And I was like, oh, Chris was low down. Because, see, Chris...
They all fair love and war.
Okay, so Chris and Charles were twin brothers. And Chris was Cindy, Olivia's mother's best friend. And they were like best friends, loving each other as best friends. And, you know, Chris was the one... Charles was always trying to live up to his mother's expectations. And his mother was an aristocratic, sophisticated, you know, I'm in control, low down kind of woman. You know, I'll make things happen the way I want to make them happen. And, you know, and always in her boys' lives, she was paying off women. If she didn't like you, she was going to write you a check to send you on your way, you know, so that you could stay away from her boys, because nobody was ever going to be good enough for her boys. And so... That is how it ended in the Summer on Sag Harbor. They left us feeling like Charles sided with his mother because they tried to make Cindy look like it wasn't his baby. She had slept with some other man and all of that kind of stuff. And
too many details.
I know, but that's what we do in a book club. We didn't told these people to read the book.
I know, but there's some other stuff I want to get to.
Okay, excuse me. And so anyway, and I was hurt. I was a little disappointed in Chris when it came out that he actually lied, and he knew Charles was on his way, but he beat him there and all of that kind of stuff. So in the end, you think, you know, when you look at life and you like, well, all dirt comes to a head,
right?
You know, and so he had done a little dirt, you know, and then he ended up dying. But okay, go ahead.
So I just wanted to visit back when you were talking about like the women and the going back and forth. So they also introduced in this book and kind of resolved the issue with the grandmother, how she's a manic depressive. Yes. So she has mental illness, which was really good that they introduced here. So you kind of get an understanding. So on top of her being an aristocrat and trying to control everything, to make her family look a certain way, she was also, like I said, a manic depressive, you know. And so that's why I said I like that they kind of introduced that, and it kind of explained some of the things, because they have this major loss in the family that they have to contend with, and it's kind of like a mystery of like what really happened, and you realize that that issue is because of
They hit that person.
of genetics, of, you know, it being
Mental
that's
illness.
and it's being passed down, and the devastation of things not being resolved because of this again, secrets is the major theme here. Her trying to hide things, and if she just would have kind of faced up to it, she could have been, you know, her daughter wouldn't have had to deal with that. You know, or, you know, she could have gotten help for this person,
But it was-
without ending tragically.
And it was because of her treatment.
Yes.
It's
Right.
bad experiences, and it, she did touch on that. And then what I like about it as well, because I've said this before, what Sonny Hostin was doing with introducing all this book is making us aware of these communities, that they do exist.
Right.
But then I like the historical perspective that she gave.
She did.
What did you think about that Frederick Douglass thing?
Yeah. What do they call it? Like historical fiction.
The historical.
Yeah,
Well, but you know what? That wasn't really fiction. That was all history.
No, but I'm saying like her being related to him.
Oh yeah, that historical fiction.
Yeah,
That
so
part.
Olivia has some lineage in the book to Frederick Douglass. So I do like that historical fiction part.
Yes.
That she added to it. So Olivia's just like a part of this long line
Of
greatness, which again adds more drama to it, because
Yes.
someone else that's kind of brought into the picture in this third book believes that they have some type of say or family
connection.
connection.
And that's hilarious how that ended.
yes.
I was like, she probably was like, well, just
Yes.
him then.
Right.
Yeah, so we're not going to talk, we're not
Yeah,
going to
so-
give that away.
Right.
But now, had you heard that? So what we find out from a historical perspective is what you find out is that Frederick Douglass's son is the founder of Hamilton Highland Beach, right? And then, you know, they allude to, and I had read this about Frederick Douglass's second wife. How, you know, although Frederick Douglass was, you know, slavery, he was an abolitionist, he fought for it. His second wife was a white woman. She was German or Russian or something. And I had read that already because they alluded, and it has been alluded to, although his first wife died and his second wife was a white woman, it's been alluded that he was having an affair with the woman.
Of course.
Yes.
I believe it 100%.
And I want to delve into this a little bit more, and I got to find someone that I can bring on the show and talk about it, because I really, you know, so many of our civil rights activists, our, you know, previous slave abolitionists, people who fought to free the slave, rights for black people, how do you go through all of that and end up with a white person? You know, and I guess
it's proximity. It allows you closer proximity to the masters of the universe.
yes, and
Them being their men.
yeah, and it you can't help who you love, because I wish I could talk to Isabel Wilkerson.
Who is that?
Isabel Wilkerson wrote the book Cast.
Okay.
And
Oh,
that's what
okay.
the movie Origins is based on her. And I'm starting to watch the movie. Last week's show was all about the racism, and then it being portrayed in books and movies. So I talked about the book Cast. I talked about the book, that book. I know. It left my mind just that quick. So
okay.
I talked about the series Them, that Netflix
Okay.
series Them, and just how, you know, how all of those books. Now, Cast is just totally a non-fiction book. So she deals with the caste system and racism, and then we had the film Origins. You know, so which I've started to watch, but I haven't watched all the way. And then Them, and then oh my God, what is the name of that series? And they brought historical perspectives. But anyway, I love the way, and it's a way that we're keeping ourselves educated on our history.
Okay.
Because we can't, they're trying to take it from us. So everywhere we can get it in, we need to get it in now. And people, even if you don't want to watch it, you need to let your children watch it. You need to educate yourself. Talk to our kids because they need to be aware of what our ancestors went through and how we came to this point.
So what is our next book going to be?
So our next book is, and I was thinking about this when you said it, because I have got to read more recent books. Get with our recent authors because I did this on my passion and I hadn't been reading a lot lately. So I want to do the one that you're reading.
The Other Black Girl?
Yeah, I want to do The Other Black Girl. So we'll do that one. So let's do that one. And when do you want it? When do you want to talk about it?
Whenever you're, do you want to do it from a month from now or like
we can do it a month from now.
Okay.
And I'll get the book and read it. And then, okay, so next week's show, y'all. 2 things I want to talk about. Oh my God, we're over time. I want to talk about this Saturday, Caribbean Life Television is having our 2nd year anniversary. It's going to be a lot of fun. You all are welcome to come. Reds, we're not charging anything, right? It's open to the public. If you've been a guest on my show, I did send it to all y'all. I didn't hear from Quanda. But if you've been a guest on my show, you're welcome to come. We're going to party Caribbean style. So take your nap. I'm going to have to get a lot of sleep because they don't go to sleep. They party all night. The Saturday, the 3rd Saturday in every month, we always have a party here. And it was so funny, y'all. The first time I came, I called myself not coming. I came like an hour late. And I was still the first one. And they was like, oh, no, you can stay. But people didn't start showing up to like 12, 1 o'clock.
Oh, Lord.
And I was like, well, I got to go home. And they were like, you got to take a nap. That's what we do. We go all day, then we take a nap. You had to take a nap first. I was like, well, I'll take a nap next time. So take your naps. It starts at 6 here at the Caribbeanlifetv Television Studios. We got a little club room, y'all. It's going to be nice. So please come and party with us. And then next week, we going to get a little nasty. We're going to be a little sexy. So what I want y'all to do is get you, be ready to talk a little something. I'm going to discuss Zane's books next week.
Oh, okay.
And, get a little nasty. Get a little nasty. Somebody told me that I need to stop just talking about books and talk about sex anyway.
Oh.
Because the way I carry on with my girlfriends, they were like, you don't need to be talking about books. You need to just talk about sex.
Or sexy books.
Sexy books. So anyway, my alter ego is Jasmine. So she's going to be hosting y'all next week. So just come on and get a little sexy with me next week. That's what we're going to talk about. And then I am reading Philona Mabel by Ken Bivens. He was a guest on my show. He was a guest like in the early episodes of my show. And I'm reading his book, so I got to reach out to him so he can come on back. This is his latest book, Philona Mabel, and it is really good. Okay. And I'm just like, whoo. And then I'm going to talk about, again, I'm trying to get into new books. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I'll have a schedule of everything. I want to talk about, I feel guilty in saying this, but I want to talk about some Eric Jerome Dickey books. And I feel guilty, God rest his soul. I dissed him back in the day. I didn't want to read his books back in the day. And I have started to run across his books on Audible. Mm-hmm. And the guy that narrates his books, I'm just like, oh my God, I feel so bad. I dissed Eric Jerome Dickey back in the day. And I'm going to be honest about it because I thought it was just girl drama kind of books. And I wanted to stay away from that. But he writes some pretty good books. And then I'm doing them on Audible. And the guy who narrates them is just like amazing. I'm taking so many notes from him. But anyway, so next week it's going to be sexy. So if you are a Zane fan, I got 10 Zane books.
Okay.
So I know. I mean, we all got that raunchy side. and I'm a closet freak. So is she gonna be here with y'all next
Stay in
week?
the closet.
Stacy won't be here next week, but Jasmine will. So come on and sit down with me. And if you've read a Zane book, come on, let's talk about them. And then I have this book, Secrets of Seduction for Women, that gives you tips.
Oh.
I learned some good stuff in that book. Anyway, so thank y'all. As I always say, thank y'all for joining me. Keep reading to feed your mind. And next week, we're going to see how we read to feed our minds sexually. Get your sex on. Get your sex on. See y'all later. Thanks for joining me. Have a blessed week. Bye.
Give it to me, do it to me, give it to me. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. The way you make me feel.
Do you like music like this? That's right, I'm asking you. Do you like music like this? Then why have you not been to Sophisticated Saturday as yet? That's right, each and every third Saturday of the month, we call it Sophisticated Saturdays. Where we keep it at? Caribbeanlifetv Studios. 6254 Memorial Drive is the only place to be each and every third Saturday of the month. So if you want to celebrate your birthday, if you just want to come hang out and have some fun with grown people having big fun, Sophisticated Saturdays is the only place to be. It's brought to you by yours truly, DJ Reds, and my boy, Mr. B. Sophisticated Saturdays, every third Saturday of the month, 6254 Memorial Drive is where the grown people go and have good, clean fun. Every third Saturday of the month, man. The way you make me feel, I'm just going to have fun. I'll see you there. Sophisticated Saturdays. I got you. Get ready for an unforgettable night of worship and praise. It's a Sound of Praise concert happening on Saturday, October the 12th at the World of Life International Church of God. 4881 Lawrenceville Highway, Tucker, Georgia is the place to be. Featuring powerful performances by Joanne Sebastian, Evangelist Bridget Blucher, and Marlon Bro Paul Anderson, along with the World of Life Praise team. Doors open at 4 p.m. and the concert kicks off at 6 p.m. sharp. Tickets are just $30 prepaid or $35 at the door. Don't miss out on this uplifting evening of music, praise, and delicious food will be on sale. For information, call 917-755-5481 or 678-525-9397. Come experience the power of praise at the Sounds of Praise concert, October the 12th, and I will see you there.